Hello guys, and welcome back to Biz Coasters. My name is Anderson, and today we're going to be looking at Six Flags Great America. What a great Six Flags park that has such a great lineup, such a great coaster collection. If you've not already, please subscribe, like, hit that bell icon, and definitely comment below that you've seen this video. I'll give some people a shout out or something. Anyway, let's get straight into today's video. So today we're going to start off with the coaster collection. We'll go to some other things like food and stuff like that. And then we'll finish off with an overall score and review of this park. So Six Flags Great America has an amazingly huge coaster collection. Starting with the top number one. It has a great top three. You've got Raging Bull, which is personally one of my top hypers. Probably just below Diamondback, maybe above. It's pretty close there. And then you've got a great launch coaster with Max Force, recent addition. And if you've not ridden Max Force, it is just such a powerful launch that I think that makes up for it with a few other ridden versions. Maybe a little short in terms of ride time, but just a great ride. And then in the number three spot, not necessarily number three, but in the top three, Goliath, which is an amazing wooden coaster with a lot of great inversions and a pretty great layout. So those top three are just some amazing coasters, but the lineup kind of continues to fill up with every other coaster in the park, with a decent looping coaster and Demon, a great wooden coaster lineup with Viper, the racing coaster American Eagle, and a very small wooden coaster. That is one area I guess they could get is a really top tier GCI, but anyway, they've got a good few family coasters with the Whizzer, and the Dark Knight coaster, which I hate, but I think a family could like. And then you've got some good B&Ms with the Invert, Batman the Ride, another good launch coaster V2, a good B&M flying coaster with Superman Ultimate Flight, and X-Flight, which is a great wing coaster, and one of only 4 in the United States. So you look at this lineup, you look how great it is, how filled it is, how many coasters are really in their lineup. But where does it stack up when it comes to Cedar Point? You look at each individual coaster compared to Cedar Point, and you're not going to find many coasters as good as Cedar Point's. They've got a large lineup, but they just don't have the quality that a park like Cedar Point has. And I would say the same with when you look at like Six Flags Magic Mountain. They've got a ton of coasters. That is not the problem. They got 20, the most in the world. I guess 19. But they just don't have the quality that Cedar Point does, which is why many people rank Cedar Point's lineup above theirs. Now, I talked about how each coaster in this park makes sense. With my X-Flight theory, which I will put in the iCard above, I talked about how it makes sense they added X-Flight in a time where they weren't adding any expensive coasters. They removed Iron Wolf, and so they didn't have that fourth B&M. When I look at all big Six Flags parks, they have 4 major B&Ms. This park had, Invert, a flying coaster, and they needed a big 4, and I think the park just looked, okay, I guess we gotta give them another coaster, and gave them X-Flight. I am forgetting things as I'm talking, so if something doesn't make sense, just know that I had this planned ahead of time. But yeah, so Max Force makes complete sense because this park did not have a launch coaster other than V2, which is just not a big, good launch coaster. It's a good launch coaster, pretty intense, pretty fast, pretty fun, but it's a repeat. It's not that impressive, and it's just not. It's not gonna get you crowds. Max Force did that. So this park definitely is doing logical additions. For the past 10 years, they've been doing that. And that's what some people don't realize, is that this park is filling up its lineup. They just don't have the top tier coasters. So if I'd rank their coaster lineup, they have a lot of them. I would put it somewhere to the 8 or 9 out of 10. And I would put Cedar Point's at a 9 to 10 out of 10, just because of Cedar Point's top 4 is so good. And then they have a nice filled lineup after that. And that's what Six Flags Great America needs, is a top 4. So if they can get another really top tier coaster, I might consider them to be almost to that level of Cedar Point. Anyway, let's move on from this to the rest of the parks. You got food, experience, etc. This park, I gotta say, and goes with every Six Flags park. Yes, they are maintained. The coasters are maintained well. They do they do a decent job with everything. When you go to Six Flags Park, you look around and you'll see buildings, paint is chipping off. And I especially noticed that with this park, where it's been around for a very long time. It's been around since the Marriott days. And you'll look in, there's some areas that are kind of secluded. And those areas' days are numbered, and you'll just see paint chipping. And yes, this park is maintained decently well, but it's not maintained to the level of, I think, Cedar Fair does, where every building is painted nicely, everything looks nice. Like the gardens, for example. This park does not have nice gardens. It has ivy somewhere and things like that. Food is not bad, but it's standard Six Flags food where you go, that is a snack and that is a dinner. And I mean, I just can't talk about this park without going like, what the heck did they do? I have had food at Cedar Fair, and I can say it is amazing. I mean, they do outsource a decent amount of their food, but I can say about Cedar Fair, their food is amazing. I cannot say the same about Six Flags. That's just the truth. I cannot say that their food is amazing, because it's just not. It's average. They have average food, and that's fine for a theme park. But it's not fine when you're charging somebody $15 for a meal. It has to be good food. And Cedar Fair does charge the same high price, but for much better quality food. So their food's not overall good, but it's decent, and I can't say it's bad. It's the pizza. It's not bad. So I'm just gonna rank their food and park experience at about a 6, 7, maybe an 8 out of 10. No, I'll go a 7 out of 10, just because they don't have the right big park experience. I was still deciding before I made this video, like, is it a 7, is it an 8? Overall, it's just, I think the park experience is fine enough that it deserves more than 5, but it's just not, like, top tier like I consider Cedar Point and Kings Island. Now we're going to move on to just the rest of this park. You know, this park has a large lineup, a large park, and there's a lot of areas of the park that I really do like, that I really think are pretty, that I really think are nice, and the lineup does have a large lineup. You can go to a lot of coasters, and you're going to get some short lines. Every day you go, there's going to be 1 or 2 pretty big coasters that have short lines. Now, some days it's American Eagle, some days it's Viper, but you're just going to find some coasters with some short lines. And so the large lineup really does help, and especially for a coaster enthusiast, to go to a park and get so many coaster credits, that is certainly nice. And maybe that's biased from a coaster enthusiast, but the park just has a nice vibe. The employees, I would say, are very, very nice, and that's one place it goes above. Is I have seen stories after stories. When I did an Instagram poll, like, has anybody had really positive stories at theme parks? Because I was looking around, I saw a lot of negativity. This park consistently got stories that were positive. Same for me. I got a story where I lost my food card. Somebody gave me free food, and that's crazy to think about. So people have had so many great stories from this park. The employees are just positive and nice. I talked about a while ago my party visit here, where all of the employees were just amped up, especially as it went into the night. Employees were amped up, having fun back in 2019. So I love this park. I love everything this park stands for. And it's my home park. But I can just understand this is not a top tier park. Its coasters, I said, are an 8. The rest of the park, I said, is somewhere like a 7. But I really do think that this park has great employees, and that really rounds it up a bit. So if I'm going to give this park an overall number, it's going to be an 8, because it's just such a good park with good employees, good coasters, and a good lineup. Great park. Anyway, thank you guys for sitting through this very, very long review, and I'll see you guys next time here at Midwest Coasters. Goodbye.